Okay, good morning everybody. How are you today? I don't see many students coming today to the class. I know it is because of the midterm exam, and this is a pity because we said several times when there is a midterm exam you cannot absent yourself from class. Anyway, today's class will be like this. We're going, as usual, to listen to a couple of reports. Then we are going to debate about the interpretation, the several possible interpretations of the tiger. And, we're going to debate. If we finish with a debate, it would be a nice idea. Okay? So let's start. Let's see who is reporting today. Yes, please.
Good morning. It was a shock for the student when Dr. Akram asked for all students' daily reports. But it wasn't like that for me because I always write my reports. Many students start writing their reports in lecture, so teacher didn't accept them. According to the tiger, it was really a little bit difficult, but it needs more analysis and explanation. And actually this time wasn't Dr. Akram who explained it, but it was Mrs. Ahlam. It was a nice and clear explanation, although we didn't share a lot. I forgot to say that Dr. Akram read the poem in a nice way, and then commented that Mr. Ahlam's explanation was nice, and that it reminded him with the past days when she was his student.
Yes, thank you very much. Another report. Yes, Khawla.
It was the lecture of the poem which I like, The Tiger, by William Blake. Miss Ahlam attended the lecture and she did her presentation in a nice way. I like her thinking of some words in the poem. But before that, Dr. Akram asked each student wrote a report should submit it to him. Unfortunately, I didn't write for that lecture. After that, some students read their reports, and Dr. Akram started the lecture by some analysis for the poem. In addition to that, Dr. Akram shared Ms. Ahlam with her presentation. Ms. Ahlam focused in his analysis on the words and its reflects. So Dr. Akram said that he will continue the whole poem in more details next lecture. So I didn't forget to write my report.
Okay, thank you very much. In fact, last time Ms. Ahlam conducted what is called deconstruction or deconstructive analysis. She used a theory called the theory of deconstruction. She was looking about the binaries, like the opposites, like the mild and the violent, the strong and the weak, the mighty and the vulnerable, the sublime and the beautiful. So it was a good insight into the poem, and I think it was appropriate because it was suitable for, the philosophy of Blake himself, because Blake didn't see life in black and white. He saw it like, he didn't see them like contrasting, but he saw them complementary. And in the marriage between earth and heaven, he saw evil and good going side by side. Today we're going to have another look, and most of the critics, when they want, because this poem is symbolic, it is full of rhetorical questions. What immortal hand? What the hand? What the shoulders? What is the place? So all, the questions were concentrated on the act of making, the act of creating, the act of forming. And that act involved two things. It involved power, physical power, It involved also an eye, an artistic skill. So because he was asking about what the art, what the eye. In fact, the poem became a little bit confusing. As I said, some critics said it was about the Industrial Revolution. Other critics said it was about the French Revolution or the American Revolution, because it was the age of revolutions. Other thought that it was, a poetic revolution. It was a revolution against the rules and, restrictions of the poetic restrictions of the neoclassical. So in all these cases, we find that it is about revolution. Now I want to start, because we are supposed to debate, and I was going to take the side of revolution, so I prepared some videos to show you how England was like during the Industrial Revolution, how the life, of the countryside, how it changed, how everything was transformed, and how the countryside lost its purity because of mechanization, how the social arena was transformed. So it had its dire consequences, and even the farms were enclosed, because everything was important in terms of materialism. So the farms, the landscape, lost its vast nature because it was open. Now it is partitioned because they were interested in grazing animals and raising profits. So the countryside lost its beauty, and mechanization was there. So let's see some videos, and hopefully you see how was England like. We'll show her. The first one. This is how the English countryside transformed.
And rural villages, where only the sounds of weather, of animals, and the distant ringing of church bells broke the stillness of the landscape. Yet England was a land of great social inequality. A handful of aristocrats.
It talks about social inequality, how like
by right of birth, nearly all of the incredible wealth of Europe. They built magnificent palaces for themselves and filled them with treasure. While an enormous lower class, most of whom owned no land, struggled to survive, often paying rent to the wealthy landowners. These poor people sometimes faced severe malnutrition and even starvation. They usually died young. With this as a background, let us find out what great changes were to occur as a result of industrialization. The first industrial revolution began in England for several reasons. First, she possessed rich deposits of iron and coal, resources essential to industrialization. Second, England had many reliable sources of water power. And third, numerous colonies around the world supplied her with abundant raw materials, like this cotton. And at the same time, they provided enormous manufacturing.
Okay, so as you see, like, just I want to show you, like, how England was. As you see, like, Industrial Revolution was indispensable. Industrial Revolution, like, was there because of the labor, was like the raw material from the colonies, like mainly America. So they started, like, to industrialize or, you know, to invent machines, and those machines necessary for industry changed the face, the social arena, the political arena, everything. And England became like a plant or a factory producing, working for the world. And with these emergent values, like, the countryside lost its purity, you know, and it was seen like a monster because, you know, machine replaced man, children were abused, women were abused, like, because they were working in factories. Even like, you know, slums, dirty slums were created, and a lot of crimes even happened. So Blake wrote that poem, and some critics thought it was about the Industrial Revolution. Others, as I said, thought it was about the creation of poetry. So we are going to have the poem in front of us, and now to debate whether it is about Industrial Revolution and whether about, like, poetic imagination. So let's see quickly who wants to be, like, Amal, do you want to be in this side? This is the Industrial Revolution. Okay. Hidayah, do you want to be in this side? I can help both. Yes? I encourage more students. What do you want? Which side?
The industrial.
Okay, the industrial, you come here. Poetry, you come here. So have some chairs. Okay, yes. Who will join, like, these people? Yes? Why are you scared? Like, I'm going to help. Both. Okay? Who wants to come to this side? What is it about? It is about poetic creation? Okay, what do you think? Let's start. If you want, like, I'm going to help both of you. Like here, if you look at the word frame, frame has to do with what? Frame, to shape, to design. Make has to do with what? Create. Okay. If you want to look at art, okay, the word art would support, you know, those who think it is about art. But the word chain and the word, you know, horror, the word hammer, okay, would support the Industrial Revolution. So you have, like, a lot of evidence in the poem to support either side. Okay? So let's start by, yes, this group. What do you think?
First of all, first time I wrote the poem, I felt like it was about, like, two contradictory things, like but evil and good, and this like always we have in a human soul, and so like a human were so taken by the Industrial Revolution, and so there was, like, the evil part of them. So he's like, I think he's saying that the Industrial Revolution is like
a monster.
A monster that taking over the human soul.
Okay, and I do agree with her because, you know, here the tiger is presented to us not like an animal, an ordinary animal, no, but rather as a monster, you know, frightening the people. Mm-hmm. What do you want to say?
No, I didn't think because he mean the positive things and sides in the what you said. For example, burning bright. I think it is something attractive.
Excellent, yes.
Yes,
And fearful symmetry.
Fearful symmetry is, of course, two sides. And
Yes.
the word frame, if he didn't want to speak about the creation of poetry, he wanted to speak about some changing to better way of writing poetry.
Okay, I do agree with her. Like, it's very interesting because here, in fact, it was yesterday that I realized we have another oxymoron here, you know, because burning bright, burning, it is something negative, but bright, it means something positive. So when we are talking about something bright, something dissipating the darkness, because if we have the first of the night, which is darkness and you know, bright, then it is positive. And symmetry. So poetry is an act of symmetry, isn't it? This is what you want to say. And poetry, because poetry, you know, sometimes, look, some revolutions were supported by poetry. I think, you know, the Egyptian revolution, if you remember, like they were sitting in Tahrir Square and they were chanting, you know, poetic things, and those poetic, you know, lines gave power to the revolution. So nobody can ignore the power of poetry in inciting people, provoking people, giving them this momentum. So it is seen by Blake here, the poetry, the power of poetry is like the power of this light which is burning in the forest of the night. So here, if you want, and this is, I think she's talking about the darkness. Darkness is associated with political injustice, with political despotism, and poetry, you know, imagination, the poetic revolution, or the power of poetry can be you know, a protest against this, can change, because poetry has this power to change. Okay?
I want to say about burning bright. Like the idea of fuel, like burning fuel to get energy and to machines, and so they design new things like the cement, fearful symmetry, like design something beautiful, and like of night, like they're working unstoppable, like they always work. So it's like the idea of industrial revolution.
Yeah, she began by saying that the tiger stands for evil, the making of evil. So we can say that the tiger could stand for the machines as being the evil thing, and the burning is the burning of the machines and stuff like that.
So, but why are the machines like evil? Like the question
Because
is,
they replace
why?
people.
They replace people.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no work.
Do you have any evidence, like in the poem, which shows that the poet was complaining that this is evil? Evil creature. This is evil creature. Okay. Do you have any evidence like this?
Of course, the words like fearful and
In the forest of the night.
night.
So do you think, you know, night is good? It's a place for romanticism, you know?
The word immortal is supernatural power and something like like make use of fear or scare.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
No, I think the tiger here, okay, it is fearful because it is when anything new appear for people, they will be scared and fear and avoid it. But when they come close to it and analyze it and deal with it, they will be familiar, and I love it. Like his poet and his style of writing is new, so like people is dependent and familiar with other parts of style of writing, but when they become close and know what is this writing about, they will love it and will be
So they can change their mind?
Yes.
And you think this is like, you know, with symmetry and like, you know?
And he also described the tiger, his shoulder, his eyes. I think it has something to do with the responsible thing or something new and.
So with the creation, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. What do you want to say?
This poem, I think, is about two themes: nature and the Industrial Revolution. Nature is.
So you are betraying, like you are helping them, you know?
No, I'm not helping them, but it is obvious. I mean, it is
you
used.
Can come here. Okay, who can replace her?
No, I'm an objective.
Okay.
Okay. Now it is logical that William Blake was born in the first in the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution, so it was the theme of their lives. I mean, ordinary people in their daily speeches, they were talking about this revolution. So he was motivated by this theme, but as a romantic poet, he chose a figure of nature, the tiger. The tiger is a very beautiful animal. He tried to explain to clear the idea about him and taking it as a symbol of this industrial revolution. Blake wasn't trying to express something instantly about this industry, but he was I guess dealing with this tiger issue, but being affected by this revolution, and this.
So you cannot like make up your mind. I think if you look at the poem, or if you look at all the questions, they were about the process of creation. Yes. They were. He asked about the hand, the shoulder. So it was about the creation. Now the question is. Does the creation of poetry require this effort? No. No?
It doesn't require a hand.
Yeah, it's just like...
Poetry is spontaneous.
It's spontaneous. And the assumption is like poetry, you know, just like poets write poetry without feeling the pain and the experience. This is what do you want to say?
No, I think...
Okay.
I mean, why would you say effort?
Yeah, but
why
like...
would you say effort?
Because, you know, they need
I don't see effort being blamed here, because he has been spontaneous. He has been just himself. He's a real poet.
But like I think, you know, we are not honest to, or you know, honest to Wordsworth's definition of poetry when he said poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling recollected in tranquility. And here, when you say recollected in tranquility, it means like the writing of poetry needs hard work. It's not easy. You keep changing. It is spontaneous. But what is spontaneous? It is not the act of writing poetry. It is not the act of saying poetry. It is the feeling which is spontaneous. So I think, you know, poetry involves craftsmanship. And sometimes poets suffer, threat, in order to, you know, produce this poem. It is not easy.
Yes, and anyone can express his emotion, but not in the suitable
Yeah, not in a poetic way, because, you know, if you want to be a poet, you need, like, to fret more and more. Okay, yes? It seems like the students are unprepared today, you know. It is because you are having exam. But let me, when he complains, like, what dread hand, what dread feet, like, when thy heart began, here, like, when he said, when the stars know, what shoulder, yes, and when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand, what dread feet. Do you think, you know, here, this questioning involves any fascination, like fearful symmetry, like burning bright? What dread hand, what dread feet? I think here he's complaining. What dread hand or dread feet? This is very frightening. This is very scary, isn't it?
Maybe he's amazed about this.
Yeah, but no, I think, you know, questioning here, what dread hand, what dread feet? Like he's, you know, I mean, the tiger is seen as a monster here. It is like a mythological creature. You see? It is not like any animal. What dread hand, what dread feet. So I think, you know, this shows a complaint that it was about Industrial Revolution. And look here, the hammer, the furnace, it is like a goldsmith. I'm sorry, I'm not helping you.
No, I want to say that yes, it is about industrial. It's the time of industrial revolution, but because he want to make an poetic revolution, he cannot say it is directly. So he want to use this means
in a very symbolic way.
Very symbolic. Even if he speak about the industrial revolution, he wanted to convey something other something like he wants to convey in a
So I think, you know, what you might think also, because this is an open debate, in fact. I'm not going to close it today. It's an open debate. I want you to think, you know, further about this. Is it about poetic imagination, or is it about industrial revolution? And this is what I want you like to research. Okay? So I want to close this debate. I don't want, you know, it is part of, you know, an assignment I'm giving you, and we'll talk about this assignment later. It might be, you know, a supplement to your midterm exam, which I'm going to give you in a minute. So I would like to thank both teams for sharing with me, and we'll see you next time. We're going to continue. Thank you very much.